If you want to start investing in ETFs but you're terrified of losing money and picking the wrong one, then you're not alone, because there are 5,794 ETFs available on Trading 212, and that is a lot to get your head around. So today, based on my 9 years of investing experience and decades of academic research, I've narrowed down 4 of the best ETF strategies for UK investors, so by the end of the video you'll understand which of these strategies have consistently built wealth over time. Let's start with the core satellite strategy. This one has some serious academic weight behind it, but in a world that's ever changing, I think this one could be one of the most powerful strategies that there is available today. It was first developed by 2 economists, and it was first referenced in this paper called How to Use Security Analysis to Improve Portfolio Selection. And they reference this as a blended model with an active portfolio and suitable market portfolio. Let me show you exactly what this means in English with my trusty whiteboard. The market portfolio is also known as your core portfolio and is invested in something broadly diversified and passive. This is something like a low-cost ETF that could be as broad as a global equity market tracker, like the Vanguard FTSE All World, or even something more domestic like an iShares MSCI UK ETF. And this part of the portfolio typically makes up 70 to 80% of its total allocation, which leaves the remaining 20 to 30%. And these are the satellites. I've got 4 here as an example, but you might have 1, 2, 4, or perhaps even more. That's down to you, but these are where you get more selective and strategic. These could be sector ETFs like iShares Information Technology ETF, emerging market funds like a Vanguard FTSE Emerging Markets ETF, or thematic plays like the Wisdom Tree Quantum Computing ETF. Essentially, it's whatever you have high conviction in based on the research that you've done. These are just examples which I've provided, but they orbit around your core portfolio, hence the name. The actual logic of this paper is actually quite simple, and there's actually decades of data now to actually back it up, in that it's super hard to beat the overall market, and even professional fund managers have failed to do so over the years. So rather than fighting the fact that most investors are simply better off by investing into some kind of broad market tracker with most of their money, it still offers the element of flexibility where you can still invest a portion of your money into some of your higher conviction ideas in order to generate excess returns. Now here's the honest bit, because I'm not here to BS you guys. There is no guarantee that those satellites will outperform. They certainly might not. And actually, I've got extensive research here which says that about 83% of thematic ETFs fail to outperform their benchmark. And actually, if I specifically draw your attention to figure 22, which even shows ETFs on tech, resources, and social themes all failed to beat ETFs on the MSCI World in any category over the last 3 years. The reality is, when investing in these ETFs to select as different satellites, it can require a hell of a lot more research in order to ensure that you're selecting the best ones. And actually what many investors can fall foul of is that they'll pick based on hype rather than conviction. And that can be the strategy that results in an investor's downfall. However, when done right with a genuinely diversified core portfolio and thoughtfully selected satellites, I believe this is probably one of the most flexible and personal approaches to retail investing today. For a long period of time, I had my own version of this over on Trading 212, where my core portfolio was in an S&P 500 ETF and my satellites were in these individual stocks. It's of course a slight variation on the pure ETF play, but these stocks are without doubt the highest performing area of my investment portfolio by a long shot. So look, it can work. I made some thoughtful and strategic plays here, but also, let me be honest, I've also enjoyed the best part of the last 6 years of a bull market, so also luck and just market timing have also played a part here too. But if you're looking to try a strategy like this, then picking the right platform of course is important. For me personally, as I've said, I use Trading 212. They are a low cost, commission-free investment platform with low FX fees of just 0.15%. And because it is a low-cost platform, it actually makes creating one of these multi-asset core satellite portfolios actually fairly viable for the average investor. Now, to help you get started, Trading 212 are currently offering all new customers 1 free fractional share valued up to £100 when you scan the QR code up here on screen or click on the link down in the description below and open an account with them. And it's worthwhile me saying, if you have opened an account within the past 10 days, you can also enter the promo code Mitch within the app, and you'll still get that free fractional share. For transparency, this is an affiliate link, so I do get a small kickback at no extra cost to you. So thanks so much if you do go on to use that link, as it massively helps support the channel. Okay, now let's talk about the next strategy, which has arguably been the most popular one for the past decade or so, and for obvious reasons, and that's the All-American strategy. On apps like Trading212, you will consistently see one fund that's the most popular amongst UK investors, and that's the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. And in my mind, there's one clear, undoubtable reason as to why it's been so popular for so many years, and that comes down to performance. Because over the last 34 years, the S&P 500 has provided investors an impressive 11.71% compounded annual growth rate. That means a single £10,000 investment back in 1992 today would be worth just over £439,000. And benchmarked against the UK, Europe and emerging markets, it reigns as a clear winner in recent history. Whilst of course past performance is no guarantee of future results, that past performance is undeniable, and therefore it makes it an attractive proposition to investors, especially when you consider the types of companies that are in the S&P 500. They're some of the most profitable and innovative companies on the planet today. It's an ETF strategy that I adopted myself as early as 2017, having held an S&P 500 ETF in my portfolio for the last 9 years on both Vanguard and Trading212, and the results speak for themselves. But here's the bit that I started to find uncomfortable, and also the bit that nobody talks about, and why I actually started to shift my investment strategy away from just pure US equities, and that's because of a growing problem around concentration risk. Check out this chart. From the mid-90s to 2015, the top 10 stocks in the S&P 500 made up roughly 20% of the index by market value as an average. But in 2020, something happened. Tech stock valuations soared, and those top 10 stocks grew disproportionately to the other 490 stocks in the index. By the end of 2025, AI pushed valuations so high that now 40% of the index's value now just comes from those 10 companies. But what does that mean for investors? Well, the very makeup of the S&P 500 has changed. Its risk profile and performance drivers are now fundamentally different, and that concentration risk has more than doubled since I first started out investing. So if there is ever a rotation out of tech stocks again, or all of this AI capital expenditure fails to generate a return on investment, this could quite possibly present quite the issue for the pure play US investor. So to help mitigate that concentration risk, I had to look beyond American borders, which brings me on to this next strategy, which is the all-world equity strategy. The logic on this one is pretty simple. Instead of trying to guess which country or sector or even currency is going to perform best over the next 30 years, instead, you just buy a slice of everything. You've got developed markets like the US, UK, Germany and Switzerland, along with emerging markets like China, Taiwan and India. In my view, it's one of the most purest forms of like the set it and forget it investment strategy, where you have plenty of options available on apps like Trading212, like the Vanguard FTSE All World or the Invesco FTSE All World. One fund, roughly 3,500 companies across 50 different countries, has historically been quite rewarding for investors, providing a compounded annual growth rate over the last 23 years of 10.5%. It's not a million miles off the returns of the S&P 500, which is great considering it feels like a less concentrated bet. And look, don't just take it from me, there is some serious academic weight behind global diversification as an investing principle. Because back in 1952, Harry Markowitz, who's a Nobel Prize winning economist who actually founded modern portfolio theory, published this paper called Portfolio Selection, and he presented the below diagram. It's called the efficient frontier, and it's really intuitive once you see it. The green dot is your all-world ETF. It's broadly diversified, sitting at a point where you're getting strong returns without taking on unnecessary risk. The red dot is a concentrated position, perhaps in a single thematic ETF, where you're taking on significantly more risk, often for a similar or sometimes even worse return. The key insight Markowitz proved is simple. Spreading your money across assets that don't all rise and fall together reduces your risk, without sacrificing returns. That's the entire theoretical case behind some kind of all-world ETF in one diagram, and it was published over 70 years ago. Now, I do like to be straight with you guys, and I'm sure there will be some pushback down in the comment section below for those of you who might be suggesting, well, Mitch, actually, if you look at the makeup of these types of all-world portfolios, well, you'll actually find that about 62% of that fund is in US equities anyway. So why would you not just go all in on the S&P 500 instead? After all, it's also the top performing one, which we've shown in the data, so it would be unreasonable for me to just completely dismiss this as an argument. But here's what that argument misses, and that's that we don't know what the future looks like, not 5, 10, 15, or even 30 years from now. Take a look at this paper. You can clearly see the UK dominated in the early 1900s. Japan also had a spell in the 1980s too, and the truth is that investors can sometimes make the same mistake whereby they think just because something has performed well in recent history that thing will continue to perform well into the future too. And history tells us that that doesn't always happen. And that's why I've transitioned part of my portfolio into an all-world fund to capture the rest of the world market for if and when the tide changes. But look, all of the ETF strategies that we've discussed so far all have one thing in common, and that's that they've just been pure equity exposure. Now, of course, the data behind this is kind of undeniable. However, it is also worthwhile me saying that when the market has down years, these types of portfolios can be extremely volatile. And because of that, I now want to share with you another strategy that can help mitigate some of that risk, which is the multi-asset ETF strategy. Instead of putting everything into equities, you split your portfolio across two different assets, usually stocks and bonds. Bonds are typically lower risk, they're boring, and they offer lower returns. But critically, when markets are in a period of downtrend, then they can tend to hold their value and therefore act as a little bit of a cushion against market volatility. And the beauty of this strategy for UK investors is that you don't need to think about how to build this strategy yourself, because over on Trading 212, there are some funds that have done this for you. Under the pies feature, there are 3 core model pies. You've got one with Vanguard, one with BlackRock, and one with WisdomTree. And just to be clear, these are still ETFs, have just been packaged together in one single fund. They just blend different asset classes together so you can select what your risk appetite is, and that will therefore reflect in an increasing or decreasing bond allocation, without you essentially having to select the individual fund yourself. Just a bit of expectation management here though, the higher that your allocation towards bonds, the more modest growth that you could probably expect with your portfolio. Which, let me just say, isn't a bad thing if it helps you sleep better at night, but here's where it kind of gets interesting for investors. The smartest way, in my opinion, to use this strategy isn't to just select one fund and then leave it there forever. And it's actually to kind of treat it like a bit of a sliding scale. And it's generally accepting in the world of investing that starting with a higher equity weighting when you're young and have time to ride out market downturns, and then gradually shifting towards a higher bond weighting as you get closer to retirement and can afford less volatility. This is called the glide path, and it's one of the most academically supported concepts in long-term investing. On screen is the Vanguard interpretation, but this isn't just Vanguard's view, independent academic research backs it up as well. It literally spells it out by saying guides to personal investing usually advise movements from riskier assets like stocks to more conservative fixed income securities as individuals near retirement, also suggesting there is rational basis for this behaviour. Now again, to be straight with you, this strategy will likely underperform the pure equity portfolio because bonds have a drag on returns. And over the last 20 years, here's a bit of data to show you this. So it isn't the perfect strategy, and no strategy is. But actually the best strategy isn't necessarily one that's fully optimized for investment returns, and instead it's actually just the strategy that you're going to stick with over the course of the long term. Now if you want to see exactly how to set up any of these investment strategies over on Trading 212, well, I've done a full tutorial walkthrough, which you can watch by clicking on this video next. With that being said, see you over in the next one.